I'd like to clarify that the term quantitative tightening refers to a reduction in the amount of money in circulation or a decrease in the monetary base by a central bank, typically achieved through the sale of financial assets.
It is the opposite of quantitative easing, which involves the purchase of financial assets by a central bank to increase the money supply and stimulate economic activity. On the other hand, the term money printing typically refers to the process by which a central bank creates new money to inject into the economy. This can be done through various mechanisms, such as open market operations, where the central bank buys government securities or other financial assets, or through direct lending to banks or other financial institutions. As the global economy navigates through the intricacies of monetary policy, a term that has gained traction in recent years is quantitative tightening. But what exactly does it entail, and is it equivalent to the controversial practice of money printing? Let's delve into this topic and decipher the nuances of quantitative tightening. Quantitative tightening, often abbreviated as QT, refers to a deliberate reduction in the size of a central bank's balance sheet, which effectively leads to a contraction in the money supply. This is typically achieved by selling financial assets, such as government bonds or other securities, from the central bank's portfolio. The aim is to reduce the amount of money in circulation, thereby tightening monetary policy and potentially curbing inflationary pressures. On the surface, quantitative tightening may appear to be the antithesis of money printing, a colloquial term used to describe the process of a central bank creating new money to inject into the economy. However, upon closer examination, one could argue that quantitative tightening can indeed be equivalent to money printing in certain circumstances. Firstly, let's explore how quantitative tightening can be perceived as a form of money printing. When a central bank sells financial assets as part of quantitative tightening, it is essentially draining liquidity from the financial system. The entities that purchase these assets, such as commercial banks or other investors, pay for them by transferring funds from their accounts with the central bank. This reduces the amount of reserves held by banks, which in turn constrains their ability to lend to businesses and households. Consequently, the overall money supply in the economy is diminished, potentially leading to tighter financial conditions. However, to offset the reduction in reserves resulting from quantitative tightening, banks may seek alternative sources of funds to maintain their lending activities. One option is for banks to borrow from the central bank's discount window, which is a facility that provides short-term loans to banks. Another option is for banks to issue debt in the form of bonds or other securities to raise funds. In both cases, banks are essentially creating new liabilities, which can be considered a form of money printing. These liabilities can circulate in the economy as a medium of exchange, just like the money created by the central bank, and can contribute to the overall money supply. Furthermore, in some cases, the central bank may choose to reinvest the proceeds from the sale of financial assets as part of its quantitative tightening program. For example, if the central bank sells government bonds that have matured, it may choose to reinvest the proceeds by purchasing new bonds. This can be seen as a form of rolling over the assets, as the central bank maintains its holdings of financial assets without reducing its balance sheet. In this scenario, the central bank is effectively injecting new money into the economy through the purchase of new assets, which can be considered a form of money printing. Moreover, the impact of quantitative tightening on the broader economy can also influence the perception of whether it is equivalent to money printing. When a central bank implements quantitative tightening, it is effectively tightening monetary policy, which can have a contractionary effect on the economy. This can result in reduced borrowing and spending by businesses and households, potentially leading to a decrease in economic activity. In response to these adverse effects, the central bank may choose to implement expansionary fiscal policies, such as increased government spending or tax cuts, to counteract the contractionary impact of quantitative tightening. These fiscal policies can result in increased government borrowing, which can contribute to an expansion of the money supply and be seen as a form of money printing. Furthermore, the communication and perception aspects of monetary policy can also play a role in shaping the equivalence between quantitative tightening and money printing. While quantitative tightening is often perceived as the opposite of money printing, it can be argued that there are circumstances in which quantitative tightening can be equivalent to money printing. When banks seek alternative sources of funds to offset the reduction in reserves resulting from quantitative tightening, such as borrowing from the central bank's discount window or issuing debt, it can be seen as a form of money creation. Additionally, when central banks reinvest the proceeds from the sale of financial assets or when fiscal policies are implemented in response to the contractionary impact of quantitative tightening, it can also contribute to an expansion of the money supply. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful discussions on crucial economic and financial topics. Let's continue to delve into the intricacies of monetary policy and its implications for our economies and future generations. As the global economy continues to navigate through the complexities of monetary policy, understanding the nuances and implications of quantitative tightening is crucial. As we dive deeper into the intricacies of quantitative tightening and its equivalence to money printing, it's important to highlight the potential implications for future generations. Quantitative tightening involves reducing the central bank's balance sheet by selling financial assets or not reinvesting proceeds from maturing assets, which can result in a contraction of the money supply. However, this reduction in reserves may prompt banks to seek alternative sources of funds, such as borrowing from the central bank's discount window or issuing debt, which can create future debt burdens. It's crucial to consider the long-term impact of quantitative tightening on government borrowing and the potential burden it may impose on future generations. As central banks implement quantitative tightening measures, governments may need to find alternative ways to finance their deficits, such as issuing bonds or other forms of debt. This can result in increased government borrowing, leading to higher levels of public debt that future generations may be responsible for repaying. In this sense, quantitative tightening can be seen as creating future debt burdens for our children and future generations. This aspect of quantitative tightening adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing debate about its equivalence to money printing. While it may be perceived as a contractionary policy in the short term, the potential increase in government borrowing and public debt in the long term can have significant consequences for the fiscal health of a country and the well-being of future generations. It's crucial to bring attention to this aspect of the debate and raise awareness about the potential implications of quantitative tightening on future debt burdens. By providing accurate and comprehensive reporting on the economic and fiscal aspects of this policy, we can contribute to a more informed discussion and understanding of the complexities associated with quantitative tightening and its potential impact on future generations. As governments seek alternative sources of funds to offset the reduction in reserves resulting from quantitative tightening, it can lead to increased government borrowing and public debt, which may impact future generations. Follow us on Twitter at 4YA Freedom.